The bell above the diner door jingled every time someone came in, a thin, tired sound that fit the late afternoon lull. The vinyl booths were cracked, the coffee was too hot, and the windows held the amber glow of a day sliding toward evening. At the counter, Ellie sat with her hands folded around a mug she didn't really need. She was small, with braces on her legs that clicked softly when she moved. Her speech took a moment to gather itself, and her eyes did that careful scanning thing, checking for exits, for kindness, for the shape of a room. The waitress, June, had learned Ellie's order by heart: grilled cheese, tomato soup, extra napkins. June set the plate down with a smile that stayed gentle even when the world didn't. The door jingled. 3 teens came in like they owned the place, loud sneakers, louder laughs. They slid into the booth behind Ellie, their voices bouncing off the linoleum. "Hey," one of them said, leaning forward. "You spill something on yourself." Ellie kept her eyes on the steam curling up from her soup. She knew that voice. She knew what came next. Her shoulders tightened. "Ah, don't be rude," another said. "We're just asking." June glanced over, her mouth tightening. She wiped the counter with a little more force than necessary. Ellie took a breath. Please," she said. "I'm just eating." That was when the laughter sharpened. One of them reached out and flicked the rim of Ellie's mug so it rattled. Another mimicked her stutter, stretching the sound into something ugly. "Knock it off," June said, finally. "This is a diner, not your living room." The third teen stood up, swaggering. "Relax, we're just having fun." He leaned over Ellie, too close. His hand came down quick, a sharp slap that echoed louder than the doorbell ever had. The diner went silent. Ellie's mug tipped, coffee spilling across the counter, soaking into her sleeve. She didn't cry, she just stared at the puddle like it was a map she'd gotten lost in. Her face went pale, then red. June was around the counter in an instant. "Get out," she said, her voice shaking. "Now." The teens hesitated, then snorted, muttering as they backed toward the door. One threw a few coins onto the counter like an insult and shoved the door open. The bell jingled again, too bright for what it had just witnessed. June crouched beside Ellie. "Honey, are you okay?" Ellie nodded, once. "See, can I stay?" "Of course," June said. She fetched a towel, dabbed at Ellie's sleeve, poured fresh soup. The diner breathed again, slow and careful. An hour passed. The light outside softened. The bell jingled again. This time, the sound was swallowed by leather and boots. They came in 2 at a time, then 3 more, engines cooling outside like restless animals. Bikers, jackets heavy with patches, faces lined with sun and miles. They filled the stools and booths, their presence changing the air without a word. Ellie froze. June noticed first. Her hand paused mid-pour. She watched as one of the bikers, gray in his beard, eyes kind but alert, took off his helmet and scanned the room. His gaze landed on Ellie, on the towel draped over her arm, on the way she flinched at the scrape of a chair. He didn't rush. He ordered coffee, black. Then he stood and walked over, slow enough not to scare her. "Evenin'," he said, not loud. "Mind if I sit?" Ellie nodded, her fingers twisting the napkin. He sat across from her, resting his hands on the table. "My niece likes this place," he said. "Says the grilled cheese is the best." Ellie's mouth curved, a small, surprised smile. "It is." June hovered nearby, pretending to wipe a table. The other bikers watched, quiet. The man tilted his head. "Something happened today." Ellie hesitated. Then, carefully, she told him. Not the slap, just the way. The laughter felt, the way the room had shrunk. He listened without interrupting. When she finished, he nodded once. "I'm sorry," he said. "That shouldn't have happened." He stood, turned to his friends. A few words passed between them, low and calm. No fists, no threats. Just a decision. The door jingled again as the bikers left in a line, engines roaring to life outside. June let out a breath she didn't know she'd been holding. Minutes later, the door opened once more. The 3 teens shuffled back in, eyes wide, bravado gone. One of them cleared his throat. We need to say something." June crossed her arms. They stood in front of Ellie. The one who'd slapped her stared at the floor. "I'm sorry," he said. "That was wrong." Ellie looked at him. Her voice was steady. "Why yes, it was." He nodded, cheeks burning. They left, quieter than before. The bell jingled. The diner settled. Ellie finished her soup. June slid her a slice of pie, on the house. Outside, the engines faded into the evening. Ellie smiled, small and real, and for once, the room felt wide enough.